On a well-maintained school field in Uganda, a student holds a flawless swan balance on a woven grass mat. Gymnastics usually brings to mind Olympic arenas, extreme backflips, and rigid scoring panels. In the Senior 2 syllabus, the focus shifts to the reality of physical literacy. The primary objective of educational gymnastics is pure kinesthetic awareness, understanding how to precisely control your body's center of mass in space. Safely constructing complex, continuous physical sequences requires strict adherence to biomechanical first principles. Mastering these principles allows students to cultivate precise body control and coordination, even in resource-constrained physical education environments without expensive apparatus. The entire system relies on 3 interconnected pillars: static balances, dynamic rolls, and the external safety control provided by a spotter. This practice is decoupled from competition, focusing instead on the aesthetic and physiological mastery of your own biomechanics. In physical terms, a balance is achieved when you hold your center of mass steady over a specific base of support without falling. This diagram outlines the 3 foundational formations used in the curriculum to teach this concept. The V balance requires intense core stability. Sitting on the floor, lifting straight legs, and leaning back, the abdominal muscles lock to maintain the rigid V shape. The swan balance shifts to unilateral support, standing on a single leg. Here, the horizontal alignment of the chest leaning forward precisely counterbalances the weight of the opposite leg extended straight behind. The crab balance inverts this logic. By facing the ceiling and pushing the stomach upward, the base of support widens into a quadrupedal stance across flat hands and feet. The pedagogical standard is an isometric hold. A student must maintain the static shape completely motionless for 5 full seconds to prove structural control. Maintaining that hold requires focused vision. Fixing the gaze on a specific, stationary point feeds spatial data back to the brain, acting as a neurological stabilizing mechanism. Once the mechanics are understood, the curriculum shifts to kinesthetic discovery. Students must invent and name safe, localized variations, like a crested crane balance, applying the physics to new shapes. Basic balances are achieved by systematically improving an individual's baseline strength and joint mobility, rather than relying on natural hyperflexibility. Achieving and sustaining this static equilibrium is the prerequisite before any kinetic momentum is introduced. When moving from static holds to momentum, the objective becomes the controlled transfer of kinetic energy over the ground. We call this a roll. This 3D biomechanical cutaway details the primary kinetic movement, the forward roll. Initiating this movement requires a rigid safety mechanic. The chin must be tucked tightly to the chest. Failing to secure this tuck exposes the cervical spine to severe compression. Weight must never be placed directly on the top of the cranium. By maintaining a tightly rounded body shape, the spine is protected, allowing kinetic energy to disperse smoothly across the upper thoracic muscles, rather than jarring the vertebrae. For a lateral alternative, the side roll, or log roll, moves kinetic energy sideways while keeping the arms and legs stretched completely straight. These dynamic transfers carry environmental mandates. They are performed on soft grass or improvised miquita mats, and never on hard ground. Generating momentum without rigorous structural protection of the neck and spine is unsafe, regardless of the environment. A common misconception in novice physical education is the belief that a spotter's job is simply to wait and catch a falling classmate. Active spotting is a continuous, collaborative biomechanical intervention. It is designed to guide a performer's trajectory and prevent a loss of balance from occurring. This split-screen graphic illustrates anatomical anchor points, specific locations where a spotter applies gentle force to control their partner's momentum. During a forward roll, the spotter kneels closely beside the mat. Their first hand secures the back of the performer's neck. This specific placement mechanically enforces the critical chin-to-chest tuck, ensuring the head stays clear of the ground. The second hand is placed gently on the back of the thigh. This second anchor manages the kinetic energy, physically guiding the roll's rotational momentum so the body travels smoothly along the correct axis. Spotting protocols apply equally to static holds. During a swan balance, the spotter stands directly adjacent to the performer, ready to stabilize the waist or arm the moment instability occurs. Executing this level of physical intervention demands highly developed interpersonal skills, clear verbal communication, and trust between classmates. Effective safety in a gymnastics lesson functions as a continuously engineered interpersonal physical system. Isolated biomechanical mechanics hold limited functional value until they are integrated into continuous motion. The gymnastics routine operates as a physical syntax, a carefully planned sequence where different movements are performed consecutively. This flowchart tracks a sequence combining rolls, balances, and skips. The forward roll generates kinetic momentum. The challenge is decelerating smoothly into a static V-balance. Transitions connect these poses like rhythmic tissue. Alternate leg skips carry the flow without breaking physical control. Designing these sequences in collaborative groups of 4 builds advanced problem-solving skills and a deep awareness of interpersonal spacing. Practicing these sequences improves core stability, builds up muscular strength, and overall physiological well-being. All of this is executed on improvised grass fields or local Maikika mats, proving that high-level biomechanical education can be effective without expensive facilities. The aesthetic value of gymnastics is found in the safe, graceful transitions between states of motion. Mastering these simple biomechanics and prioritizing collaborative spotting cultivates a lasting respect for the human body. Educational gymnastics integrates isolated principles of physics into a collaborative demonstration of controlled movement.